Shalom, all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Double honors to the apostles JMS. This is Anwar Allah coming back in the video. And in this video I'm going to be focusing on the topic of, I'm going to focus on the scripture 2 Thessalonians verse 30. So let's get right to it. You know? 2 Thessalonians, verse 10, excuse me. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 10. For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat. Right, so if you're not working, you don't eat. In other words, if you're not working, you can't eat out of bread of the churches. Because you know you got guys out there that's in different camps that'll be a part of the camp, you know, a part of the brotherhood, or so-called a part of brotherhood, and they'll go around asking this guy for money, asking that guy for money, and that guy for money, but they don't want to work. They just want to live off, you know, charity. Now, those brothers do the right thing by giving to, you know, a brother that's in need. But if you were part of this thing and you going around just asking brothers for money, and you don't want to work, then that becomes a problem. Because what you're doing now is you're hurting brothers' pockets. Those brothers are working to sustain their own lives and families if they have any. Yeah, you want to go around and just ask brothers for money for whatever reason you got. But you can go out and get a job, but you're just lazy. That's wrong. That's wicked. You can't do that. So you're basically just living off of brothers. You choosing to ask brothers for money, which in turn is hurting their pockets. But you're not doing anything to put money in your pocket other than asking brothers. That becomes an issue. That's what the scripture says. If any would not work, neither should he eat. So if you don't work, you're really not supposed to eat of the bread of the churches. You're not supposed to eat of that. When I say bread, I don't mean actual, like a literal piece of bread. Meaning, what does bread represent? Nourishment. Food, or nourishment. Food, which represents nourishment. So in this case, what nourishes you? Money. If you don't work, you don't eat. You know, you can't be doing that. That's off. You gotta get a job. You know, you gotta get a job. For we hear that there are some which walk among you disorderly, working not at all. So the Apostle Paul, like we heard, there's some among y'all in the Thessalonians that's not working at all, man. So they're not even working. But this is the second epistle to the Thessalonians. So the Apostle Paul said, for when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if anyone not work, neither should he eat. Meaning y'all were told us before. For we hear that there are some which walk among you disorderly, working not at all. So they heard that you had guys not working. So they told them, listen, man, if you don't work, you don't eat, man. And that's something that a lot of people ignore. Not supposed to be doing that, because then eventually now you're becoming a burden to brothers. The scripture said the Most High loveth the cheerful giver. If a brother gives, you want a brother to give out of that, you know, kindness of his heart, cheerfully. You don't want a brother to feel like, man, I gotta get this dude. This brother asked me for another $50. They haven't $50 3 days ago. You don't want a brother to get the feeling like, you know, you basically using the brotherhood because you're too lazy to go and get a job. That's dead wrong. That's dead wrong. You can't do that. And then eventually brothers ain't gonna want to give you nothing. You know? At that point, you're taking advantage of the brotherhood. That's really what you're doing. You're taking advantage of the brotherhood. But our busybodies, what does that word mean, busybodies?
Strong's G 4020. Perier Godzomai.
Perier Godzomai. To be literally to be working around about instead of at one's own business. Signified peri around ergon work. Signifies to make more pains than enough about a thing, to waste one's labor, to be meddling with or bustling about other people's matters, to bustle about uselessly, to busy oneself about trifling, needless, useless matters, used apparently per person officiously in inquisitive about others' affairs. So that's what you are. You're a busybody. You know, you getting involved in trifling, needless, useless matters, whatever those things may be. Things that are trivial, as opposed to, you know, occupying yourself with being able to gain finance to take care of yourself. You know, you hanging that over here, you hanging that over here, you doing this over here, you doing this over there, but it's all just trivial things. You gotta have some kind of money coming in. Now you got brothers out there in these different camps that I would assume are well off, and guess what? Those brothers don't gotta work. Well, that's a blessing the Most High gave them. So if they don't gotta work, guess what? They can help other brothers out. You know, that's the mentality you're supposed to have. But if you're thinking like, you know, oh, I'm just not gonna work because, you know, I don't want to work, I'm just gonna ask these brothers for money, then you're wicked. You're going off. That's not brotherly. Because if you're a busybody, who knows what you're doing out there in the world in them hours and what you could be working? Who knows what you're doing? Acts 20:34. Ye yourselves know that these hands have ministered unto my necessities and to them that were with me. So the Apostle Paul worked. The scriptures mention that he was a tent maker. He was, you know, laborers. He was a laborer. He dealt with, you know, his hands, manual labor. I have showed you all things. Yea, ye yourselves know that these hands have ministered unto my necessities and to them that were with me. They ministered unto his necessities and to them that were with him. So when he worked and acquired through his occupation, they didn't just help him, but they helped, you know, other brothers as well. And to them that were with me, see? I have showed you all things, how that so laboring you ought to support the weak. So I showed you these different things, how laboring you're supposed to support the weak. So when you're working, you're supposed to support, you're working, you're getting money, you're supposed to support brothers that are less fortunate than your own self. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to support brothers that's less fortunate than your own self. Alright? I have showed you all things, how that so laboring ye ought to support the weak, and to remember the words of the Lord Yahweh Shah. And that's what those brothers are doing. So if it's a guy out there that's, you know, not working, he really not supposed to eat of the bread of the church. He's really not supposed to get nothing, to tell you the truth. Because eventually what do you become? You become a burden. Those brothers are laboring and they're supporting the weak, which is that guy, but you're taking advantage of those brothers' kind-heartedness. That, you know, that's the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah that has gotten those brothers to be kind-hearted and to help you. You're not supposed to do that. That's off. So if man don't work, you don't eat. And they don't mean, oh, you out of work at the moment. It means somebody that has an unwillingness to work, obviously. And so remember the words of the Lord Yahweh Shah, how he said it is more blessed to give than to receive. Right, it's more blessed to give than to receive. Because if you're giving, you're sacrificing. You worked. You've acquired what you got, or whatever it may be, and you're giving it to somebody, to a brother. Alright? It's better to give than to receive. Because you're the one that put in that labor to get what it is that you have. And rightfully is yours. But through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah, being brotherly, you are choosing to sacrifice what you've acquired for the benefit of another brother. Okay? So if you don't work, you don't eat. The brothers that's working is helping you out. You just taking advantage. You're not supposed to do that. And once again, if you don't work, you don't eat. Obviously, it's talking about a willingness to work. It don't mean a person who's worked, you know, and they off these 3 days. It's not talking about that. Or a brother who's out of work for 2 months. It's not talking about that. It means the person that has an unwillingness to work. Like, I just don't want to work. I just don't want to do nothing. That's a problem. Okay? Ephesians 4:28. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good. See? Working. And that's good. That's a good thing. As a man of the Lord. I believe the scripture spoke about Amos dealing with working with sycamore trees in the book of Amos. You know, you had disciples that was fishermen. You know that. Matthew was a publican. Now they had given up those professions to follow Yahweh Shah, who the royal agent called Jesus Christ, but I'm using it as an example that even they worked. working with his hands the thing which is good that he may have to give to him that needeth. Alright, I'm back. I had to pause the video. That he may have to give to him that needeth, right? That you may have to give to him that needeth. So you working to give to him that needeth. That's part of being charitable. That's part of being brotherly. There's more I could get into on that, but I'm gonna end that there. Quick lesson, it was just on my mind. So with that, I'm gonna close and say, praise Yahweh Shemel Shah, double honor to the Apostle GMS. Until next time, shalom.